Okay, look. I was playing this game all weekend. And it was just like, playing this game was just so crazy that it's just like, okay, this is what I hate about like these new games. And I said this was going to be like this, like going forward a long time ago. It's like, in this one particular game, I'm going to try not to say the name of it, but if it slips out, it's like, fuck it. But you can get like a whole bunch of people on your squad, but you're the one doing all the work. How come these games can't never figure out how to utilize multiple people at the same time? Like you see, what is it? Final Fantasy Remake. You could control like 3 different people, and then whoever you're not controlling, the computer would take over like that. Like we'll say, like if I switch to Tiff or Barrett, like the computer would switch like control Cloud or whoever I'm not controlling in the party. But it just seems like it just really seems like they don't want you to have like help. It's like you have the one man army the shit all the time. And that shit gets highly annoying when you're constantly one man and shit all the time. And it's like you have opportunities to like get other people in. But it's just like they don't let you like do the shit. And it's just so frustrating. Like this happens all the time when you could have like a crew with you, but you're stuck controlling one person. And then we all live in a society now where a lot of people multitask. So how come I can't multitask this? Like why is this a problem? And it's like that all the fucking time with these games. They be having like a whole crew of dudes, but it's like you can only control one at a time. It's almost like they want you to John Wick this shit. Like I'm one dude fighting like 100 people so I can look like a badass and all this other goofy shit. Like it's just 100% ridiculous. It's just 100% ridiculous all the time. Like that shit seems like it would work if it would work if it was just like a game like Max Payne or something like that. Like, cause it's just one dude. You see what I'm saying? Like, even though it's like sometimes they'll say like, well, the story wouldn't like put like in the cutscenes, like you won't see the characters you got. But this game did a good job of keeping up with the voices in the cutscene consistent. Like it's just like in like we'll say like Red Dead Redemption, which I had to delete off of my shit because that shit was just too much, and not in a good way. But if you have a whole crew of people and you're doing like we'll just say a mission that shouldn't even be like a thing. Like how come I couldn't get Lenny and Hosea and what was her name? Karen. Like how come I couldn't get them on my team, just not part of the story, but it would just be like, how could I say this? Not part of the story, but it's just like the cutscenes will switch whoever's in there. Like, how come it just couldn't be there? Like, why do I have a whole crew of 20 some odd people, but I could only control Arthur Morgan? How come I can't have other people in that shit? or able to switch the shit. It's just 100%. It's just always ridiculous. They do this shit all the time. Like, they have ample opportunity to like have other people in the crew, but they don't utilize the people in the crew. I mean, it's just real. It's just bogus, bro. And because it's just like, I have to do all the work. I have to do this. I have to go over here. And here's the thing. Here's the thing. Let me see before I get started. It's just like, okay, I have to do this one objective while I'm getting shot at the same time. And then if I ever finish the first objective, then the computer's telling me to do something else. But I can't find a way to hide, or I'm too busy trying to save myself to read what the second objective is. So I'm staying in the mission longer than I have to, because I'm too busy trying to fight off these like never-ending NPCs that just keep spawning out of thin air. And it's like, how come a NPC can't like do one thing while I'm doing the other objective or something like that? Like, why do I have the lone wolf John Wick the shit all the fucking time? Like, that shit is annoying at this point, bro. Like, that shit is 100% annoying. Cause it's just like, it's pointless to like, it's just like, I got all these people, but I can't never switch nobody. Like, it just seems ridiculous. It just really seems ridiculous at this point. But these companies, they're not gonna do no real shit. Cause then it'll be like, it's like the more people you add, the harder the game is. Cause I think, if my memory serves me correct, that was like that with Monster Hunter. Like, the mission, like the bad guy was already hard. Like whoever I gotta beat was already hard. But then, how come this ain't pop? Oh. Dude. Like the bad guy was already hard. So I'm like, okay, let me get some more, like, let me get some crew members on my shit. So it can so the NPC won't just focus on me. He could spread his attention to other places. But then it's like, the more people you add on your crew, from what I remember and what I was told, the bad guys in like HP would basically stack up the more people on your team. That's why I got the people on my team in the first motherfucking place, so it could be easier. He's already hard as is. Why you stacking his shit up higher? So that's what I'm saying. Like, this is the thing these companies do. It's like, if they do give you a sliver advantage, here it goes. Here it goes like this. If you're already down here, if they and the enemy is already up here, like astronomically overpowered, but then if they give you a little bit of advantage, they're giving the computer like so much shit. It was like, so what was the point of the advantage then? They do this shit all the fucking time. And it's just like, I have it on easy. And it's already giving me a problem. It's like the game on easy is like normal on like back in the day. And it's just like, oh, you're not a, like, I don't know, you're not a real gamer or some shit. It's like, bitch, I'm making my shit. You couldn't get any more realer than this. So you can't even apply that shit with me. But it's like, I'm too motherfucking old to sit up there and be wasting my motherfucking time on a game like this. To be failing the shit like 100 times just to get it right once, to move on to another harder part while I gotta keep like doing all this shit, wasting like one mission could take like up to 30 minutes to an hour or some shit. It's like, dude, I could spend that time better elsewhere. It's just, I'm telling you, it's just how they make this shit is just too motherfucking ridiculous now. And then, like I said, this one dude is gonna sit up there and talk about some stupid shit, talking about what did he say, that we've seen everything and somebody gotta bring something new to the table if you want to be in the video game industry. It's like, motherfucker, people do got better ideas than your goof ass, but you don't let people like get into the game. And then if somebody actually makes some shit that is like, oh, this is new, everybody's gonna be stealing it. It's just like that, hiding in the tall grass and throwing shit to distract enemies. Like, what's that? What's that? Like, that was new at one point. Then every other game, especially every other AAA game that comes out, everybody's doing that same corny bullshit. Hiding in the tall grass and throwing rocks and shit. Like, how many times that we gotta keep seeing that shit? That shit is corny at this point. Like, it was cool, like, I guess at first, but it's like now it's just everybody's doing the shit everywhere. So it's just like it lost its luster after a certain point. Cause it's just like it's been done to death. Like, okay, what like anybody doing this shit, especially at this point, like, what are you really bringing new to the table? Cause I got some shit that could literally make the shit like a lot better, or just on some new shit. But at the same time though, they don't be like liking new ideas. And it's like the game I'm talking about actually introduced something cool. It actually introduced something cool on some real shit with the whole like characters. But then people seem like they trashed the shit though. Like they just, it was just something about like how they was acting where they trashed the whole thing. And that's why probably the game didn't do good, because too many people was complaining about this shit. But like I said, the game itself is just like regular. Like I have no real like issue with the game besides like a certain amount of missions. But it's just so like, but it's just like how how these companies structure their missions is just way too ridiculous. Like it's just like this, like somebody's up there talking shit like, you know, wouldn't it be cool like if you did this objective and then like somebody shooting you, like a whole bunch of NPCs are coming out this way and shooting you this way while you're trying to defend yourself, and then do this objective, and then then something stops it, and then something else happens, and you gotta go downstairs, and then it's like these heavy machines shooting you at the same time, and then you gotta wait 30 seconds to move, and then like whoever's in the room is like, yeah, that would be cool, and it's like nobody sitting there be like, no bitch, this shit ain't cool. Like this shit is it's just too ridiculous. And then they sit up there in the room testing this shit out, dying, they laughing like, haha, yeah, let's start over, dude. And it's like, bitch. Like nobody's sitting up there saying like, yo, this is way too ridiculous. Or like wouldn't it be cool if you had a tall grass in this spot and you throw like a firecracker, distract the enemy? Like, okay, somebody's like, look, bro, how many times have we seen this mechanic though? Like, it's not cool at this point. Like I said, you could name like, I would say at least 5, no, I wouldn't even say 5, I would say at least 10 different games with that same fucking mechanic in the last 10 years. And there's like a few of them that just came out like last year. Like I would say like 2 that I could think of came out last year. And the year before that, it was another 2. Like, it's the same thing. It's not cool. And you keep talking about this shit. Like, this shit is ridiculous. This shit is just ridiculous, bro. It's ridiculous to keep doing this shit now. Like, the shit ain't cool. Stop. But it's just like they don't stop. They don't stop. But like I said, you introduce some new shit, then everybody's stealing your shit. Because they realize what they did ain't cool no more. Because the shit is motherfucking lame. Like I said, doing that dumb shit and nobody's checking them. Like, yo, bro, this mechanic's been done to death. Like, come up with something different. Because it just seemed like if you go against the grain, like, I don't know, you'll get fired or something. Because you see like a whole bunch of people that worked at this particular video game company, like somebody like very high up left. You know what I mean? Like they left, I guess because the shit got too ridiculous. As if they're gonna leave one company or start their own shit and think they can do it better. They're gonna just apply the same shit that they've you know what I'm saying? Like they're gonna go back. It's almost like how people like how did the story go? Like the founding fathers left England because of taxation just to come over here and bring taxes over to America. What the fuck you leave for? All because you wasn't in control of the taxes. It's shit like that. Like you're not going to leave one video game company and think you're going to like do something drastically different to be like on some innovative shit. You're going to leave one company and do the same shit that you left the last company for. The same thing. It ain't gonna be no better. It ain't gonna be no different. It's just that now you calling the shots, not doing the same shit. You ain't doing nothing. Now, if somebody was asking me, like on a side note, what I'm doing, like here with this character, I'm testing out something. That's why it's just splotchy like skin pores. I'm testing out something. That's what I'm doing. I'm really trying to see something, to be honest. I'm not even saving this. And plus, like, why would I? Anyway, I'm just testing out something to cause I can't find what I'm looking for. Like nobody would answer my question. So, And the whole question is, when I use the multi-resolution, because I was doing the hair and eyebrows and basically all the hair on separate separate layers. Like, not separate layers, but I was separating the meshes for the hair, the eyebrows, the eyelashes. But when you use when you subdivide it or use a multi-resolution modifier, you see the mesh of the eyebrows popped out of the original mesh because you subdivided it. So how do I get the eyebrows, like basically all the hair, back to a right position with the multi-resolution on? Because they popped out. I wanted it inside the actual brows or inside the scalp. And nobody is making a video about that. So I'm basically testing this shit out for myself. Because that's why you heard the papers rustling in the beginning. I'm sitting up here trying to like get my notes of the shit I gotta like the radius and all that, because I wrote that shit down. So I'm just basically just like testing out two things. Just the multi-resolution and just all the shit. And then I'm going to see what happens when I go back to object. Like, should I go into object mode and see how like this, see how all this popped out like a little bit? Because I know it seems like it has something to do with the where's his head? It has something to do with this. And the distance. But like I said, I'm not sure how this works though. And I think I wrote this down. There's a certain position, or should I go into edit mode and use the snapping tool to snap it in the right position? No, bro. See, that's what I'm saying. That's why I was like testing this out, but anyway, but like going back to the whole game thing, yeah, it's just like I said, it's just getting real tiring at this point. Like fighting this shit. I mean, basically, I gotta. Damn. Damn, man, this is insane. Because I remember doing this. It took me fucking, I think, from August to October to do all, like, most of my characters' eyebrows, eyelashes, and hair. And now it seems like with this shit, I will have to almost, like, do this over again. Like, I will have to adjust this shit for every character now. Because look what happened to his eyebrows. His eyebrows are gone. Let me see something. Yeah, cause this emitter thing. No, 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 no. I think I know. I think I know what I have to do first. Let me go to object. See, this is what I'm saying. I'm testing all this out right now. Cause I would just have to. I mean, I will have to adjust it a little bit more. I will have to adjust it a little bit instead of starting it over again. Anyway. See that with the yeah. Okay. Okay, I will have to push it in and then keep the defect emitter checked and bring the bring the distance out higher. That's what I will have to do. Right, that's what I will have to do. I have to write that down. I had to push this in. I'll write it down later. I'll have to push it in and turn the distance up higher. But like I said, anyway, when like I said, when the shit is when it's my time to do what I gotta do, oh, and the time will come. The time is very soon. Like, I wouldn't say like soon, but it's sooner than later. And these videos I'm doing, they're not like I said, they're not popular. You know, it's just 3 views or whatever. But it's just kind of like I'm archiving this shit. So when like mad people come across this, they be like, damn, this dude was telling some real shit. You know what I'm saying? And like, I don't know, maybe the industry would be a lot like better or something. Because like I said, I've been wanting to be in the video game industry since I was in 3rd grade. And this is like the Genesis, Super Nintendo era. And then playing games all this time. Well, when I played games, I mean, if you watch, well, I'm going to just say it, I've been playing games since December 25th on Christmas Day, 1989. But when I was in 3rd grade, that's when like the Genesis, Super Nintendo, and Nintendo was popping. Because I wanted to make my own game like Street Fighter. I mean, Streets of Rage. And then it's like I'm watching technology get advanced from 2D to what it is now. But the fun factor dropped. And it just feels like I said, when you put too much, it's bad game design. The structure of the shit is bad. Like how you structure missions. And it's just too much realism that you putting in the game. It's nothing wrong. Like what my characters like. You could even see what I'm trying to do. Like put skin pores on the character. You know what I'm saying? Like, so my stuff is going to be more hyper realistic. Nothing wrong with making your characters realistic. But when you try to implement too much real world mechanics in a video game, you lose the fun factor of the whole thing. Because it just feels like if I'm doing this in the game, I might as well do this shit in real life. Like in Red Dead Redemption, like patting and feeding a horse. Like I might as well buy a horse and do this shit in real life. Like, even people be like, oh, who got a farm and be buying a horse and shit. But like, I shouldn't have to do real world shit in a video game though. Like how like Arthur, I mean not Arthur, but John was building that house. Like that was a wasted mission, bro. That was it's just like you kind of like phoning it in. You just going through the motions at this point. Like there's nothing like engaging with this shit. It's like why is this happening? And it damn near the game is damn near like I don't know. It's just kind of like once you really get into the game, like maybe like 2-3 hours in, it's like that the whole rest of the game. Or it doesn't implement anything new after a certain point. It's just a whole thing. Even if it doesn't implement nothing new, it could still be engaging though. And sometimes you be doing like side quests and then you forget what the main objective you forget what the main missions were. And you be like, oh yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Cause like, it's just a lot. It's just a lot. And it's just like, the missions don't be telling nothing about like the side shit. Don't be really saying nothing about the characters. Oh shit. It's just way too much at this point. It's just way too much. But before I bounce, one of the tips is uncheck the mirror so you won't be like, so the same wrinkles won't be on the face on the opposite side. You know, it gives it a little bit more personality if you actually, you know what I'm saying, like do different like wrinkles or whatever on different side of the face. But anyway, I'm out. Like I said, the video game industry, it's just, I mean, it's hard to say it. It's not really hard to say it, but it's like there's sometimes there's actually something good in the industry sometimes, but I would say a good chunk of the time the game industry is trash. Cause it's just too many people that think they know too much at the top. And you see what happened to a game that came out last year, thinking that this would be cool, but then everybody trashed it because they sat up there and lied the whole time. And then now they want to issue an apology. But the damage is done. Nobody cares. And even with that whole thing that nobody cares, it's like, let's be on some real shit. By the time this company actually fixed their game, they would have already been other games to come out that nobody cares about their game at this point. Like, oh, we patched it. We did this. It's like, oh, whatever, because, like, I don't know, whatever game, like what is that, God of War Ragnarok? Some people care about that shit. I don't, but some people care about that shit. But or like GTA 6 or what's that, Final Fantasy Intergrade, or like any game to come out, like maybe they'll say like, we're working on Ghost of Tsushima Part 2. Like a lot of people like that shit. And it'll be like, okay, cool, like, oh, like Ghost of Tsushima 2, word. And then here's the game company that I was talking about, like, oh yeah, we patched it, and the people gonna be like, oh yeah, okay, that's whatever. Like, oh, Ghost of Tsushima, like, dude, he gonna be in the like the Indo period or some shit. You know what I mean? Like, nobody's gonna care about that other game. Like, you thought you was gonna do some cool shit, and now the damage is done. Like, no, again, nobody cares, cause you fucked up coming out the gate. Like, you literally stumbled. I mean, not only you stumbled, You just fell flat on your face. You didn't even build the momentum to run, to stumble, to fall on your face. You just fell. You just, bleh. That was the end of your ass. Because everybody was sitting up there looking like, bro. You know, like, I'm not going to beat a dead horse, but it's just like, come on, man. Like, you knew better. You knew better and you fucked up. See, that's what I'm saying. It's like people at the top thinking they smarter than everybody. And it's like, no, bitch, you ain't smarter than everybody. You are trash. And I don't know how you got the position you got. But you just straight up garbage, bro. And you don't want to realize that. But, you know, your game that failed, I mean, that's a hard reality. Like, you spent mad millions on this shit. And then now you got lawsuits and people returning the shit. You know what I'm saying? Cause motherfuckers just, they didn't want to listen. Because like I said, they thought they were smarter than everybody. So I'm just like, fuck that. Just fuck it. Like I said, it ain't my shit. But I know what I'm gonna do with my shit. That's all I care about. I know what I'm gonna do with my shit. And then, like, whoever likes it, likes it. Whoever don't, I mean, they just don't. But and then it's mighty funny when people talk about we want innovation in the video game and like with these video games, but if somebody actually does, like I said, like the game I'm playing, it's cool how they kept up with the like voices with the characters and cutscenes and shit. You know what I mean? But overall, it's pretty much like the same. I mean, I have no problem with the game being like the previous one. But you know, people shitted on it in the beginning, talking about all the voices are weird. But no, it's not. No. You're just applying your own like American shit to this game. You know what I mean? But I mean, it was pretty cool. But like I said, anyway, I saw what I had to do with this test. I see what I had to do for like this particular part. Yeah, I saw what I had to do. So I'm slowly getting confident in using the multi-resolution. Because I just didn't know about all my other like eyebrow mesh, my eyelash and hair meshes. I didn't know exactly how it would react. So now I'm kind of like, okay, I see what I have to do. And so now I'm like, okay. Like, I'm just more confident in it. Because truth be told, because I said this before, when I worked on like the terrains in Unreal, you could use a regular texture to mimic the resivity of like rocks and all this other shit. Like, we'll say like cracks in the ground. Like, if you have a very good 4K texture of like, we'll say like a rocky terrain where, you know, your land isn't going to be perfectly straight, but the textures give the illusion that there's cracks or dents or something in the ground, but really it's flat with a very good 4K texture. But if you use, on the flip side, if you actually use noise, like a noise brush or like whatever brush you want to like raise the actual terrain up, and then you apply the material on top, it would give like a more realistic feel that your terrain is actually like shifting. There's like bumps and hills and little indentations and dents and shit. Just like with the skin, like using a UV map, like if you ever see the game, it's almost like a mask of a person's face and it just looks weird. It's almost like somebody cut the back of your head and pulled your skin off, and it's like this mask, and then you apply the mask onto the character. Like you see the bumps and like the pores, like that's cool. But if you apply the shit on your mesh, in my opinion, it just comes off more realistic. If you apply it on the mesh, like what I just basically did, and then you just add the like, what's it called? The subsurface something. It's SSS. I can't. It's escaping me at this point. But subsurface scattering. You know, you apply that through the nodes. You color your model, and then it would just come off more realistic that way, in my opinion. But you know, most people don't know it's hard to even tell the difference, to be honest, sometimes. But like if you show people with the two side by side, then you know, you'll be like, oh yeah, that, you know what I'm saying? Like cause what I was gonna do, but like I said, this was just a test. I was just gonna, like, I did both, but it's like you apply the pores, and then you add the wrinkles on your character if they're old, or like birthmarks or whatever. Like, don't try to do like both at the same time. And then uncheck the mirror, so you don't like in the middle of his face, like nobody, it's like just too identical. No. Now you have one look one way, and then have one somewhat similar, but not too off. You know what I mean? But anyway, like I said, this was just a test, so like I said, I'm out, man. But it's just, things gotta change in this industry, for real. Too many nutsacks at the top think they smarter than everybody, and they ain't. But money over stank hoes, cause these dudes be hoes.